Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Nosebleed section brought to you by the Sportsmark Analysts. My name is Benny Thurman III. I am here with my cousin, Mr. 97.32%, Joe Anderson.
Wow. Just taking percentage with me now, huh? I did nothing wrong.
Listen, it is what it is. All right. People start doing more work around here, your percentage starts dropping. We are here with our kind of late because we were supposed to be doing this last Saturday, and I swear I think both of us just forgot our
Yeah.
mid-season New York Giants review. Like I said, we were supposed to be doing this during the bye week. That didn't actually happen, but we haven't played yet, so we're still at the midway point. So,
We're good.
anyway, before we get started with everything, Joe, how you doing? How you thinking? How you feeling about this season so far?
Um, like I've been saying from the beginning, I think our biggest issue is like it's to me like the term of the year I've been using is finish, like the ability to finish a game, like and that's really well, I mean, we've been doing it the past couple of weeks, but like it just sucks because it's like to me it's like it's almost too late, and it's like when you look at what we could have been, we could turn around. We talk about it all the time. We could have been 63 at this point.
Mm-hmm.
You talking like the Reds? You talking about the Washington game? Like they don't jump off sides. Like that's a win. You talk about the Chiefs game. If O'Shane doesn't jump off sides, that's a win. There's games that we were just in. Like the only two games I think we said that we really weren't in were the Cowboys game, the
And the
Rams
Rams
game,
game.
the
Mm-hmm.
Rams game, and yeah, like I think the Broncos game we weren't really in either. It was like 20 something, whatever. But like that's what I'm sitting here like we're just so like the inability to finish is really what really cost us these games this season. Now we're just kind of getting to it. Like the Panthers, we put the Panthers away to let the Panthers linger around. Quincy Roche came in and made the game-saving play against the Raiders and showed the ability to finish the game defensively.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, we're learning it, but it's just it shouldn't take this 3-6 record to And it's not like it's rookies that are costing us. I'd say it's like you got like Zemin has been in the league 3-4 years. Like
Mm-hmm.
just look down the line, defensive alignment here. Like come on, but yeah, like that's just how I feel about the season. Is just the inability to finish has cost us 3 games this year. We finished these games. We're 6-3, and we're in pretty good shape. So
Mm-hmm.
if we really get the ability to consistently finish games, my mood's really not going to change because it just sucks to see week in and week out. You don't know what you're getting. Are you going to
Mm-hmm.
get these guys that start the season, or are you going to get these guys as of late? So those are my thoughts. Like, what are yours?
I think when I was on my way home from work, I was trying to come up with some type of an explanation as to how to describe how I felt about this team. And the word that I came up with, or that I kept coming up with, was just frustrating. Just because of the fact that, and this is coming from somebody who is a Mets fan, somebody who is a Lakers fan, right? The New York Giants are the single most frustrating team I've ever followed
Mm,
because, as you stated before, we could very easily be 6-3, and 6-3 in a bad NFC because the NFC this year is incredibly top heavy.
yeah.
You have your top couple of teams or whatever, your Cowboys, your Rams, your who am I forgetting? The Packers.
The Bucks.
Yeah, the Bucks. I would forget about them. The team we're about to get destroyed by because Tom Brady's probably pissed right now.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but you got all of these teams sitting at the top of the conference and everything like that, and yet we're 3-6 and only a game and a half out of the playoffs.
Yep.
So that's just the other frustrating thing that's about it is the fact that I don't know right now as a fan if I should start rooting for us to make a push for the playoffs, or if I should just be like, you know what, wipe the slate clean at the with the season or whatever, go into next year, see if we can figure this out. I know we're not switching quarterbacks or anything like that. Personally, I'm willing to go and give Judge another year, but Gettleman, no, if we were to wipe this clean. But then there's a whole bunch of other stuff. That would be us getting into a whole bunch of other stuff, and I don't want to go on too much of a rant. But this team, as I was saying, is incredibly frustrating. There are some things that we're doing we're doing incredibly well. I know I was really hard on Patrick Graham up until the last couple of weeks, but the defense has started to come around, and I'm starting to see it's still annoying the fact that we bend as much as we do, but once they get, once our opponents get out into the red zone, it's really hard for them to score.
Yeah.
And that's something that I'm really liking, that is coming back from last year. This team, they're starting to get themselves together and find their identity. I'm not happy that it took 9 games to do it, but
Right.
I mean it's starting to happen. Um, Couple of things that I wanted to go over, and this is one of the things that I'm talking about when it comes to this team being frustrating. Um, Before we started this up, I decided I needed to do a little bit of research. Um, this is supposed to be the year that we find out about Daniel Jones, correct?
Yep.
Here's the problem, all right? I don't know what it is about this man, but he just seems incapable of having a full complement of weapons on the field at all times. It
Yep.
seems like the hardest thing in the world is for this team to just be healthy. I think it was Fireside Giants. I don't remember exactly what the stat was, but they were talking about Daniel Jones with Andrew Thomas is averaging like 285 yards passing a game. Without him, it's like 130.
I mean, you don't have the blindside protection. You don't really trust who that backup is, so you're getting the ball out quicker, or you're just running the ball.
You
So I get
don't,
it.
but that is a damning indictment on our front office.
Yeah, it just completely changes the whole way you play the game. You don't have a backside, you don't have that backside left tackle. Like, because again, I can't really name you who's been playing the left tackle since Pert's been out. I mean, not Pert, since Thomas has really been out. I think the
No,
guy
it's been Pert.
it's been Pert, and I
It's
think
it's,
like,
it's been a rotation between Pert and Solder.
and I think the guy Corey Cunningham played a couple snaps too, or something like that. But
Mm-hmm.
like again, we're just scrounging around for people off the streets. It's not good. But I mean, like to your point, I mean, I know people have been like really hard on Daniel Jones as far as like he's done, he's the problem, he needs to go, he's this, he's that, and like I mean, we've been hard on him too. Like, again, like I said, like I've been saying before, like if it were up to me and I was the Giants GM, I'd never draft him in the first place. Like
Mm-hmm.
you knew my plan was Josh Allen the 1 year, and the following year was Justin Herbert. That was my
Yeah.
plan. But we're here, we have the guys, so I'm gonna cheer for him. I'm gonna hope he does well, because if he doesn't, then like that means the team's not doing well.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, that's my whole thing with him. I mean, again, like you said, we don't have our O line's not healthy. I mean, you have games where Ingram's not playing, or Rudolph's not playing, or Darius isn't playing, Sterling's out, Slayton's out, Galladay. Like, so how can you really assess this kid and see how he's progressing? And then even then, you still have coaches around the league that are saying that this kid's progressing anyway. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, like I think he had one. I think it was the Rams game. It was like his one really bad game. Like, if I remember correctly, the Rams game, I believe it was like he threw like 3 or 4 picks that game. I think other than that, I think he's been having good to pretty solid games almost every game this year. Like there's been like you can't blame it on him half the time this year. Like before in
Yeah,
the past years, yes, the interceptions at bad times, the fumbles at horrible times. Like this year, I haven't seen much from him that could be like, yeah, this one's on Daniel Jones. Like I haven't seen that. Like he's even Bruce Arians came out today and he said a year ago, I think it was a year ago today or a year ago yesterday. Bruce Arians said, "I see a guy who's trying to do way too much, and he's gonna shorten his career by doing so." And then it was like, I think he just came out. They asked him about him today or whatever that interview was. They asked about him. They said, and Bruce Arians said, "I see like a fine young quarterback who's finally coming into his own and is progressing well. I mean, especially considering what he has." So
mm-hmm.
I mean, other coaches around the league are taking notice that the kid's coming into his own. Now, like it's now comes back to what you said. Can he just please get a full complement of an offense? Like, God forbid he could ever get his four receivers healthy at the same time, along with his two tight ends, Saquon Barkley and Andrew Thomas. Like,
Mm-hmm.
give him a full sample size. Now we've both said this last year, like or beginning of this year. Now, if he goes the rest of the season with a full complement of people and completely shits the bed, then we can talk about that quarterback conversation or next year,
Correct.
whatever you want to say. But right now, this ain't on him. Like, and people are like, oh, well, he only had like 150 yards passing, whatever, or whatever, 130 yards passing against the Raiders. He only had 11 passes. Okay, that's the game plan.
Mm,
Like, that's not all on him. Like, Jason Garrett's game planning for like this for a reason. Like
mm,
we saw that the Raiders have one of the best pass defenses in the NFL and one of the worst run defenses. So you have Devontae Booker in the backfield tearing for 100 something yards rushing or 99 yards rushing plus another I think it was 40 yards receiving. Like we're taking advantage of them on the ground where they're not good. Why we put them in the air when we have backup linemen playing and we don't have our full complement of receivers? So okay, he only threw 11 passes. Our running offense did the rest of the did what they needed to do, and our defense won us the game. So what's the problem?
mm,
Like, so people just because they don't see Daniel Jones putting up 300-yard passing games and 4 touchdowns every week, they're just like he's not the guy. Like, but you got game plan what you got. So
mm-hmm.
that's my take on him.
Yeah, like I sit here and I'm trying to figure out what it is that we actually have. My biggest critique of Daniel Jones is a critique I have of myself, whereas it's one of those things where I laugh every time I see it because the first thing that pops in my head is Daniel Jones. That scene from Avengers where Thanos finally puts on the Infinity Gauntlet and says, "Fine, I'll do it myself." That is Daniel Jones. That
Mm-hmm.
is 1,000% Daniel Jones because he sits there and when he feels like, all right, the pressure's on, it's just like, all right, it's time for hero ball. And that's when things start to fall apart with him.
Right.
Now, I'd like to say it hasn't happened a whole lot with him this year, but that's just him over the first 3 years of his career so far.
Yeah.
That's where the fumbles come from. That's where aside
Mm-hmm.
from the stuff that's in the pocket, does this him trying to take on two defenders and end up concussed like he did earlier this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's where that kind of thing comes from. And just to jump on that one real quick, I know what he was doing. I know exactly what he was doing, and I'm not sitting up here. I'm not going to say I'm mad at him for doing it because just for argument's sake, had Daniel Jones scored on that play, what a shot in the arm that is. Your quarterback just ran through two people,
Yeah.
scored a touchdown against your hated division rivals and everything like that. Probably, if I remember correctly, it tied the game up on that one. But
I believe
that
so.
things just didn't happen that way, and it's just like as I explained to certain people in other situations, you got to learn to pick your battles. That was one of the times where he probably should have picked his battle. I don't believe he had a receiver in that area, but at that point, you're outside the pocket. Just throw the ball away. You're not going to make it. But one of the things that's holding Daniel Jones back, and I'm going to say it's holding him back, is our offensive coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
Jason Garrett. Now, I'm not going to sit up here and ever claim to be an offensive guru. All right. But I think it was the Washington game. I was watching a video after the Washington game. I was watching a video that Kurt Warner had put out. Now, a lot of the stuff with Kurt Warner, you have to take with a grain of salt because he is still bitter over the fact that we pulled him for Eli. And that's not sitting up there making any kind of assumptions or anything. Just listen to him when he talks about the Giants. He is bitter.
Mm-hmm.
But what he did was he broke down a lot of our route concepts and everything like that. And he was saying, we leave so much of the field open and uncovered by our own receivers and everything like that, that we make everything like super congested. Now, I don't know what it is with Garrett's play design and everything like that, but that's a problem just because of the fact that you're putting so much more pressure on your quarterback, on your receivers, and technically on your offensive line as well, because of the fact that now your quarterback has to take more time waiting for these receivers to get open. We're like, you know how they do all the next gen stats and everything like that. We're like damn near dead last in like separation or something like that. And that's why. It's because we're not scheming our people open.
Yeah.
And then when we go out there, and I'm not trying to sit up there and say we should run trick plays and everything all the time and everything like that, because when we do, it's super obvious. Mm-hmm. How many times do you see a guy throw the ball out of the Wildcat? Pretty much never, right? Mm-hmm. So when you line Kadarius Toney up at quarterback, what do you expect him to do? He's just going to run the damn ball. Mm-hmm. Like he did against the Raiders, and he got destroyed. Anyway, like I said, because that's one of the problems that I'm having. Like I said, we're sitting here and going over how our offense is actually producing. I'm looking at some of these rankings and everything that we have this year. The only one that's even remotely decent, and just looking at the percentage, I still don't like it, is our third down percentage. Our third down conversion percentage is 39%, and that's midway in the NFL. We're ranked 16th. It's disgusting.
I mean, considering what we got.
Like, yeah, I completely understand that. But we can't sit up there and just be like, well, we should get a we should get a pass because of the fact that, you know, we don't have certain people out there. You got to find a way to execute. Now, I can understand if, you know, 60, 70% of our third downs were like third and 20, third and 25. Like, then, all right, yeah, sub 40%. And our conversion rate is like, okay, I understand that. But it's not. It's when you get there and it's third and 2 and you try to run the ball into the heart of the defense and you know that you're not going to be able to do it because, you know, our offensive line is not playing up to what we need them to play to.
Right.
In order to be able to do that. What else is killing me? I know, and I'm actually surprised our points per game are this high considering what we're doing, but we're averaging just under 20 points a game. It's 19.9. That's 24th in the NFL. Our touchdowns per game, 1.9. That is 29th in the NFL. And the one that killed me the most, our red zone touchdown percentage, 44%, dead last.
Oh yeah, we get down inside like the 5 and 10 yard line, just automatically settle for field goals.
Yeah, because the first thing that you're gonna see, he's gonna run up. You're gonna run up the gut. You're gonna run up the gut. It's third down. Where's the fade?
Mm-hmm. Halfback
It's
draw,
literally you
halfback
get down to the
draw,
goal line. It's dive, fade.
yeah, or draw to try and catch him out in the gun, put him in the gun from the 1 yard line, and do a
Mm-hmm.
halfback draw, fade to Galladay or Ingram or something like that, or
Mm-hmm.
fade a back shoulder to Sterling Shepard, and then sell for three.
Mm-hmm.
But it comes out in the way they coach them to even in games. Like when we're sitting here trying to put up an opponent away, like instead of going down and just trying to put them out their misery and score and really step on the gas and put their foot in the neck, they want to just run it 3 times, waste other team's timeouts, kick a field goal, and then hope your defense holds on. Like
Mm-hmm.
that coaching not to lose stuff is what kills me. Like
Mm-hmm.
all the other stats and everything, that's one thing. Like that's one thing. Like, yeah, for the 1 touchdown, 1.9 touchdown in the game, that's pathetic. All that's pathetic. Like, and the fact that 39% is 60th in the NFL in third down conversion just says a lot for the NFL in general.
Yeah.
Like, but to me, just the from the coaching standpoint, not the stats number standpoint, just the coaching standpoint of sitting here and playing not to lose, that is what pisses me off more than anything else that frustrates me. Like sitting back and it's 3rd and 10 and you want to play your corners 15 yards off the ball when our corners aren't especially known for amazing tackling anyway. Like
Mm-hmm.
and just try to just give a buffer. Like stuff like that kills me. Going down and getting down to the team's 10-yard line, and instead of going for the kill and scoring a touchdown, you want to just run, make them use their timeouts, kick a field goal, and then waste 15 seconds off the clock, and then hope that your team can hold on for 50 seconds. Like when you're only up 2, and all they have to do is go outfield and score a game-winning field goal, and then you lose again. And then you're like, oh, we thought we had them. Like, just go score the touchdown. Like, go for the win. Especially at this point. Like, if you're 3-6, I understand you're a game and a half out, but it's gonna come down to how it always comes down. We're gonna win games we're not supposed to win. We're gonna lose games we shouldn't even lose, and then we're gonna sit up here and we're gonna need. Oh, we need the Eagles to beat them. We need the Cardinals to lose this, and the Packers lose this. If these guys win this game, then we're gonna be in the playoff. Like when every year
Mm-hmm.
we depend on another team to have our fate in their hands when we can't grow our set of balls for ourselves and win our own games. And then we
Mm-hmm.
go point the finger at other people. Oh, well, they just won this game. No, you go win.
Yep.
But it starts with the mentality of the coach. And you wouldn't be Joe Judge and be this whole hard nosed, old school classic. We're going to go out and give it our 110% effort and win the game, blah, blah, and some Newt Rockney 19 whatever 19 whatever 50s and 40s and 60s coach like, and then when you get to the 4 yard line, you're gonna just run and kick a field goal on the 3 and not go for anything, like, and just let's just play not to lose. Like, yeah, that's great coaching, that's amazing, that's showing any type of faith in your team. I don't care if I was 0-9, like I'm going for the win. Like we deserve wins. Like the fans deserve wins, not every time just go and let's try not to lose today. Like what kind of pregame speech is that? Let's try not to lose, guys. Like no, go for the win. Like I don't understand. Like again, you're 3-6, 3-6. Like we're not gonna sit here. What is how many games we got left? 9, 10?
Eight.
Like
Eight.
how many? 8?
8.
I'm sorry, we're not running the table. We're not winning 8 games in a row. Like we're not going to end the season 11-6. Let's get over that. We probably won't make the playoffs. Let's get over that fact. But grow a pair of nuts. Show your team that you want to be this whole old school coach, blah blah. Show them when the game comes that you have that same energy, that you want to go out and punch the other team in the mouth and step on their throat and put them out their misery. Show that same energy when the game comes. Like, come on, man. Like, it's year what? Year 3 with Judge, or year 2, whatever.
No, it's year 2.
Year 2. This is year 2 with Judge. Like, I'm like, yeah. At first, you had a Hall ready to run through a wall for you or anything, but like, yo, okay, it's year 2. I'm tired of your speeches. Like, go prove it as a coach. Like, do something that's gonna actually get people up. Like, yo, okay, like he had a pair. He had a pair of nuts on him. He went out and he won that game. Like he made his team his team win that game. They wanted it to win. They wanted to win that game. Like that's like you said, that mindset with your team and the organization is going to translate to wins. Like not just playing not to lose. Like that's what kills me more than anything else, more than any analytics can, any stats, anything. Just playing your team just playing and hoping we could just hold on, like that disgusts me more than anything else. So when I see it, I watch these guys play, and I'm just like, I watch it and watch the guys that just, like you said, predictable stuff. 3 runs in a row, and 3 runs in a row, wasted other team's timeouts, kick a field goal. Now we're up 2 points. The other team has a minute and a half or a minute. They march right back down the field. They kick a 50-yard or 55-yard field goal. They beat us. Same old song. Like, you're 3-6. Just go for it. Like, just go for it. Try something different. Throw the ball, especially if Daniels is in a rhythm that game. Throw the ball. Do something. Mix it up. Go for the win. Stop going for. Let's try and hold on. Let's go for wins, guys. Like, oh, I had to say that. Sorry. Like,
Trust me, man. The frustration is real. The frustration is real. I said it at the beginning of this. Frustrating is the only word is the best word that I could come up with to describe this team.
yeah.
Incredibly frustrating. And the crazy part about it is, as I've stated before, 3-6 since 2017. That's our best start.
Mm-hmm.
That's our best start over 9 games. So even with all the frustration, as pathetic as it is, if they wanted to do it, they could point to that and just be like, well, we're doing better than we did the last couple of times. And you wouldn't be able to really refute it because it's the truth. Aside from 2016, 2017 up until now, it's been 2-7 the entire time, if not worse. Like I said, last year we had an excuse, all right? COVID, right? You're talking about a new system, a new everything. Where I'm gonna call him a rookie quarterback because he didn't play the entire year in 2019. So you still have a guy trying to learn a whole new system, all that other stuff. You're trying to quote unquote instill a new culture and everything into the organization and everything with Judge and with all of these other coaches and everything they're bringing in here. And I'm like, all right, I understand all of that. So like 2020, I'm like, all right, that's a wash, right? Now we had an entire offseason that we could have worked everything out. You went out there and you spent money on bringing people in that were supposed to put us over the hump. We're in our little golden window because Daniel Jones is coming up on his option year.
Mm-hmm.
Not next year, but it's the following year. And they got to figure out exactly if they want to give him that option year or not, or if they want to start looking for another quarterback. And I hate the term, or I hate the idea that they go out there, that people go out there and say that, oh, well, Dave Gettleman didn't do anything to fix the offensive line. No, he did plenty. He just didn't do the right things.
Mm-hmm.
On paper, when Nate Solder was available, Nate Solder was the best offensive tackle that was on the market. He went out there and got him. Nate Solder was over the hill, though.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't do the job anymore.
Yep.
The year he picked up Solder, all right, that was the year that Eli Manning was. That was his last year. That was the year it was the second to last year. He also got Will Hernandez. Okay, bring the guy in. We're trying to make sure that we're trying to get everything situated with the offensive line. You had this supposedly really nasty guard that loves plowing through people and everything like that. You got your spectacular running back coming out of the backfield. The very next year, not the very next year, the year after that, after we picked up Daniel Jones, we pick up Andrew Thomas, we pick up Matt Pert, we pick up Shane Lemieux. He's put pieces on the offensive line, but the only one that has actually seemed to have worked out has been Andrew Thomas. So, bad job? Yes. Didn't do the job? I'm gonna say no. Like, nah, I'm not gonna say no, he didn't do the job or whatever. He went out and he just like the stuff that he did just flat out didn't work for the most part. Like I said, the only one that actually really came through was Andrew Thomas. So now we're sitting in a position where we're supposed to be evaluating our quarterback going forward, and we can't actually do it because you have all of these other pieces that are around here. You got your Kenny Galladay, you got your Kadarius Toney, you had Saquon Barkley before he got hurt, and hopefully, like he'll be back on Monday. Um, you got all of these pieces and everything that you can't actually use, or you can use them, but you can't use them to the fullest extent because we got these little nagging injuries with Andrew Thomas, who again hopefully will be back on Monday. They said he was back at practice.
Mm-hmm.
But we gotta. There has to be something. Something has to give with this because we can't sit up here and keep going another 2 years of well, if we could just get everybody together, we got to get past that.
I
We
mean,
absolutely have to get past that.
like just to piggyback off your point, like I I personally I like the whole Hernandez pick. Again, his rookie season he showed a lot of promise. His sophomore season feels like he slumped.
Mhm.
Everybody's the sophomore slump just always happens. And I mean, for everything I know, he's been pretty well. He's done pretty well this year for us. So I
Mhm.
mean, and he's coming up with his contract year this year too. He's like probably our biggest. Him and Ingram, I believe, are our top free agents this year. I mean, do we bring up? And I think Jabril is too. That's going to be interesting to see what happens with him too. But I personally don't think. I personally don't think he's done enough though for the O line. Like for somebody who's known as like brings in hog mollies, blah blah. Like to me, like you're the people that you named. Like okay, like you win, and you had your drafts where you picked up pieces, blah blah. So again, you picked up uh Andrew Thomas the 1 year, and we both, we sat there and watched the draft. We're like, okay, I like the pick. Franchise left tackle, you know, there were four big name tackles out there. You picked one of them. I'm fine with that. You picked the Will Hernandez. He's playing the guard spot. That's fine. That's two pieces you have. Now it's fine to pick up these people, but you have to. There's a reason why they're getting drafted where they're getting drafted. Like there's a reason Shane Lemieux was a fifth-round pick. There's a reason that Matt Pert was a fourth-round pick. Like these people are getting drafted where they are for a reason. It's like every lineman was good on the same skill level as each other. There'd be you wouldn't be reaching for one in the first round, whether you were O lineman 1 or you're O lineman 21. I could take 21 in the seventh round, and he's still good as O lineman 1. Like, but there's a reason. Like, you can't sit here and pick up fifth round play talent every year and expect him to be a starter. It doesn't make sense. So when you're sitting here like, oh well, I got you Matt Pert and I got you Shane Lemieux, like cool. We picked Lemieux in the fifth round. Why do you think he's just going to be a plug and play starter? We picked up Matt Pert, who people coming out said, hey, he's a developmental prospect who might be able to slide inside to play the guard spot or can play right tackle. He's a couple of years away. He needs to develop. You might get something out of him. Again, a fourth round pick. Why do you think we picked him up he's going to start. Like, these people aren't plug and play starters for a reason. First, second, probably third round, maybe somebody slides. These are plug and play players. If I take a tackle in the first round, I'm pretty sure I'm plugging and playing him. If I take a guard or a center in the first round, I'm pretty sure I'm plugging and playing him. If I take a left tackle in the 7th round, I'm not plugging and playing him. So, like, yes, you could say, oh yeah, I'm self-proclaimed hog molly king, whatever. Like, I get hog mollies, I get live, blah blah. But if you get people in the 7th round, it's not helping me in the immediate. Like, yes, they're developmental projects. That's cool. That's fine. But don't sit here and think like you pick all these amazing people. Like, I think you picked Andrew Norwell. I think he was a late round pick. So you can't just say he almost reminded me of Jerry Reese. Just like, I could take a DN in the 7th round because he's raw and athletic, and I love my DNs. Now he can start. Like, no, why would he start? Why would he start? Like, that's not fulfilling a need. Even when we picked up Jerry Reese, when we had Jerry Reese, he would pick up guards and he picked up what was the guy, Eric Herman. He picked up the 1 year, like the 6th, 7th round, or whatever. Adam Coates, like come on, these people, Matt McCants, Brandon Mosley, like picking up people in the later rounds of the draft and saying, "Look, I'm giving you O-line help." This isn't helping me. This isn't a starting quality player.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so you can pick up all the receivers and all the corners and all the linebackers and all the running back tight ends you want, but if you're starting 5 linemen can't block, it ain't helping nobody. Like, so you can sit up here and pick up all these people. Like, yeah, in my opinion, we had 3 of 5 linemen. We currently have 2 because we had 3 with Gates. Now he's out for season. He has a terrible injury. He
might be out for his career.
Exactly. So we're down. To my opinion, we're down to 2. We have Cunningham. We have Thomas, and we have Will. We have 2 O linemen. You have to figure out your other guard position, your center, and your right tackle. You have to figure out 3 other positions. So we're going out the gate, putting Daniel Jones out here, trying to criticize him, where he has no receivers because all of them are hurt, and 2 linemen to speak of. Like, how can you sit here and fairly judge this kid and be like, oh, like, he's not doing it for us? How can you say that? Because you traded for Billy Price and got Ben Bredeson and Matt Skura, like, and Nate Solder. I could buy better than Nate Solder now. Like, come on, like, let's be real about this. Give a man a fair shake. Give this kid a fair chance to try to play. Now, this draft, I hope David Gilman's fine after this year personally. And again, it goes back to last year for me. Like, for us to need O linemen and not draft a single offensive lineman in that draft,
that right there is my biggest criticism of him.
That is disgusting.
That is my biggest criticism of him.
Disgusting. And then then sit up here and just like, when Gates goes down, and not even before Gates go down, just sit up here and just try to start trading for pieces and Price and Bredeson, scrambling left and right, looking for linemen I can go find. Sign people off free agency, sign people off the waiver wire, sign them to the practice squad. We picked up Isaiah Wilson as like a long-term guy after he got cut from the Titans and the Dolphins. Like, you just look like an idiot. You look at an incompetent GM, like completely incompetent. And you just embarrassed the whole organization. The whole NFL knows you need offensive line. You needed offensive line since Eli was there. Like, you needed O-line since like 2011. You needed O-line for the past 10 seasons. And you bypassed the offensive line in the entire draft? You didn't take one? And you call yourself a hog molly guy? Like, because you got Aziz in the 2nd round and you got Ellerson in the 4th? You took 2 DNs, no D tackles, and no offensive linemen.
Ellison Smith still hasn't seen the field.
He saw the field this game. I read that he got one snap or something like that. That's what I read, or maybe it was special teams or something like that. Like a joke.
I mean, like I could sit up here and I will eat my words if Ellison Smith turns out to be good. But how many times did you let Wyatt Davis go by?
3 times.
How many times did we let Trey Smith go by?
6 times.
You had an opportunity to take both. Multiple opportunities to take both. Or one or the other, I should say. And you messed around and decided you wanted to spite the Eagles for jumping up and taking Devontae Smith and hop up and take Aaron Robinson, who made his season debut against the Chiefs and got toasted
in week 8.
Yeah,
just being spiteful and petty, the idiot. Like, okay, the Eagles pissed you off, yes. The Cowboys screwed us more than anything. The Cowboys could have just minded their business and took Micah Parsons there, and we could have took Devonta, whatever. But they said, hey, we could trade back one spot. We're going to take Micah. We could screw the Giants over and get an extra pick or 2. Cool, let's do it. The Eagles made that move. Cool. We traded down. We got Kadarius Toney, whatever. Second round rolls around. We are looking at Landon Dickerson. We were going to draft Landon Dickerson in the second round. Eagles traded up again to screw us and spite us because they got caught when it was getting Landon. They take Landon Dickerson. So we take Azeez Ojulari, the best pass rusher in the draft, that people wouldn't touch because he tore his ACL junior year of high school. Okay.
And somehow, and 3 years and 5 years later in college, that's an issue.
Yeah. Thank you for the gift. Okay. Thanks. Third round, you're sitting here on the board. The Eagles are moving up. You move up to pick 71, sacrificing multiple picks. Wyatt Davis, plug and play starting right guard, is staring you in the face. I could have Andrew Thomas at my left tackle. I can have Hernandez in my left guard. I can have Gates in my center. I can have Wyatt Davis in my right guard. And maybe I can start Purr in my right tackle. Or I can go back the next year and pick up a tackle maybe this first or second round and my line figured out. No. I heard the Eagles who screwed us the first 2 rounds like Aaron Robinson. So let's go trade up and go get Aaron Robinson. When we already have Bradbury, we already have Adore, we have Darnay, we have Julian Love, we have X, we have Jabril, we have Logan Ryan. Cool. Let's go trade up for Aaron Robinson. Right. Who just saw.
And then still go back and take Darius Williams later on in the draft.
Right. You're gonna go back and then you're gonna see here what? You go 4th round, you go Ellerson. 5th round, we win.
We didn't have a 5th rounder.
5th round pick. We didn't have a 5th round pick. And then you sit up here, and the 6th round rolls around. And you got Trey Smith.
Darius.
And we take, and we, instead of taking a chance on Trey Smith, you go Gary Brightwell, who was just activated off of IR or whatever, or the COVID list or whatever, and who we drafted strictly to be a special teamer because we don't see that guy as a running back for some reason. He's literally said, like, I'm here to play special teams. Okay, great. And then you have Darius Williams, who you drafted. So you drafted another corner. You have Trey Smith staring you in the face. He has his injury concerns. He has blood clot, medical issue. Nobody wants to touch him. This is 6th round. You can't take a flyer on this kid who was rated 1A, 1B, the best guard in the entire draft, if not for a medical issue of a blood clot in his leg. You can't take a 6th round flyer on this kid, who, by the way, is now looked at as a possible Pro Bowl guard as a rookie, along with Creed Humphrey, who's rated the best center in the entire NFL as a rookie. Give me a break. Like,
Yeah.
give me a break.
Like I said, this past draft, this past offseason when it came to the offensive line, those are my biggest criticisms of Gettleman because stuff could have been done and it just wasn't. Like I could sit here and listen, I'm a rational thinker, right? I'm when he came out and said you got to let guys develop, I don't have any issue with that. My issue is you knew, even though, yeah, we got to let guys develop, that you weren't going to turn Shane Lemieux from a fifth round pick one year into a Pro Bowl guard the next.
Nope.
You also knew that he was hurt.
Yep.
So there needed to be something to be done.
And
On top of the
coaches.
what happened?
And while switching O-line coaches.
Exactly. Exactly. We decided up here. This is the third O-line coach that we had in here because of Colombo and the other dude that we had last year that was supposedly brought in as a consultant.
Mm-hmm.
Now we got Rob Sale. Now Rob Sale, for what it's worth, like with the dregs that we didn't had lining up at the offensive line, Rob Sale has done a pretty damn good job because at times they have played well.
Yes, they have.
They just haven't played well enough. Now you put Rob Sale out there with guys that are actually capable of doing the job and capable of being NFL caliber players.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about something like pretty damn good.
Mm-hmm.
I was sitting here, I caught myself earlier listening to somebody doing a way too early mock draft for the Giants next year.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're still sitting at number 6, and I believe Chicago has number 8, so we would have 6 and 8.
We're 6 and 8 right now.
Yeah. He went out there, and I was a little upset that he went defensive end with the second one because of the setup that he had. I'm looking at it. He picked Evan Neal.
Mm-hmm.
And then with the second one, he picked some defensive end or whatever like that. But I'm sitting here. If the draft was right now, my first 2 picks right off the bat, because Kayvon Thibodeau and the guy from Michigan were both gone.
Oh, Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah, they were both gone when he did his thing. I'm like, all right, if that's the case, somebody's taking a quarterback in there. All right, just because of the fact that somebody's going to need a quarterback, and they're going to set up here and they're going to reach for Corral or reach for somebody else. Like I said, and then Thibodeau's going, Hutchinson's going. That leaves us Evan Neal, best tackle on the board. And then you turn around, like I said, and I've been on. I swear I keep forgetting his name. Linderbaum, I think it is.
Yeah, Tyler Linderbaum.
Yeah, I've been on this kid like for weeks now.
Yeah, you definitely have.
You sit up there and you get those 2 in the top. It is your first and second pick in the first round, and then you could turn around and start picking like your other edge rushers and stuff from the second round on, because that's the other position that we need like help in. But
the only other guy, like I said, the only thing I'm looking at is O and D line. I'm not looking. So his edge was the edge that he picked Karlaftis.
I believe that was it. This guy from Penn State.
Penn State.
I think he said he was from Penn State.
Purdue.
Might have been it.
If it's George Karlaftis, I'm fine with that because he's rated the second best in the draft. Hutch is the third.
He double dipped was what he basically did. He took Josh Johnson, guy from Florida State, later on in the draft too.
Oh.
So yeah, he was wild.
Listen, it's better than some mocks I've seen because some mocks I saw one mock that had us taking Derek Stingley, it has taken like Derek Stingley, the corner from LSU, at like 6, and then like Chris Olave, the receiver from Ohio State, at like 8.
I would punch somebody.
I'd be completely sick with that. And then another one I saw is had to getting Kyle Hamilton, the safety from Notre Dame, because they're just like, well, you let Jabril Peppers walk, you can get
And
Kyle
you still have Logan Ryan, you still have Xavier McKinney, you still have Julian Love who plays both positions. Why are we taking a safety, especially that high?
The kid is 6'4". They just love his size. That's really what it is. Yeah, he's like 6'4", 220.
So he's
They
a
love,
linebacker.
yeah, they love the kid's size. They love his size. But I mean, me like I said, like I was saying to you too. Like I'm literally down to the O line and the D line, and the edges, I should say, not the D
Mhm.
line, the edges, because I'm going to be pissed if we take Jordan Davis. The kid's a monster. Kid's an animal on the inside. The D tackle from Georgia, he's an
Mhm.
animal. Don't want him. Like I just don't want him. I don't like. We can like again. Danny Shelton has been getting his ass kicked on the inside. He's probably
Yep.
gone this year. That's fine. Austin Johnson's been doing a decent job spot starting. Like we can get another D tackle later in the draft. Like we need edge presence, or we can just move Leonard Williams inside, and you have Aziz on one side. You could take either Hutchinson or you could take Carl Loftus because Thibodeau's going to be probably going within the first 2 3 picks.
Mhm.
So again, I'm okay if you're sitting up here at 6 and you can get. I doubt we're going to get Evan Neal too, but if you sit up there at 6 and Evan Neal drops to you at 6 and you can go back at 8 and get a Carl Loftus or a Hutchinson, I'm fine with that. I would love that first round. Or if you sit up here and you have Linderbaum at 6 and one of the edges or something like that, the only other person I'm watching, they said to get there's a Kenyon Green, the guard from Texas A&M,
I heard him. I heard him mentioned earlier too.
and then there's Ikem. I don't know how to spell his last. I want to say Ekwanu. Ikem Ekwanu. He's the tackle. He plays left tackle at Louisville. No, NC State. But they're saying he actually translates better as a guard. So he's a top guy. And then I read Giant scouts were at Kentucky's last game because they're looking at the left tackle from Kentucky, Darian Kennard. They're
Mhm.
looking at him because they said he could be by the time all this stuff rolls around, he might be like tackle like 3 on the board by the time the draft rolls around. So they were looking at him too. Like, but that's really where I'm at. Is we can go out, we can somehow get like freaking Linderbaum or Evan Neal and turn around and get Carl Loftus and Hutchinson. That first round to me is that's the A+ round. Like that's
Mhm.
done. And then after that, like I told you, there's no other position I'm looking at. I don't care if it's a corner or a safety, quarterback, or receiver. I'm not looking at anything else. If it's not an edge, if it's not an offensive lineman in the first round, I don't want it. Like
That's
get out.
how I'm sitting. That right there is exactly how I'm sitting now. The
Yeah,
only other position that now it dawned on me earlier while I was watching this as well. Um, but it's not first round worthy would be tight end.
yeah. Nah, I'm not worried about that.
Nah, and like I said, I'm not concerned about it to the point that I am with the offensive line. I am with edge.
Yeah,
But just putting it out there, God forbid Evan Ingram doesn't resign, even though like we all have our feelings about Evan Ingram. All right, Kyle Rudolph, I don't know if he's going to be here past this season. Um, and
I
then there's
think he
Caden
is.
Smith. Toilolo, what's going on with him? I know he's hurt for the season, but
He's not coming back. I think he's
I,
done too.
yeah, I doubt seriously he's coming back. So right now you're sitting there with just Caden Smith.
I mean,
If
me personally, I believe Kyle Rudolph's coming back. I think we signed him a 2 or 3 year deal, right?
Yeah, but you know how those 2 year deals go. They
Yeah.
sign them for a 2 year deal and then they cut them after that 1 year, which is why we got 16 million dollars in dead cap right now. That's how things work.
Yeah. So I don't know what's going to happen. That's why I'm very interested to see those two most interesting things for me. Like I hope we sign Will Hernandez back, but my two main things for me, honestly, are Evan Ingram and Jerome Peppers. Now I'm not saying they're signing back. What I'm saying is I want to see where it goes. I want to see what happens. Like I want to see what these guys are going to talk about demanding money wise because like if Jabril's going to sit up here and be on some Landon Collins, I want $84 million. Like, there's the door.
Mhm.
And same thing with Evan Ingram. Like, if I want like $50 million, there's the door. Like, I'm not giving you $50 million. I'll give you $50 million over 10 years, you could have $5 million a season. Like that's what you can get. Like same thing with Jabril. You want $84 million? Cool. Over 10 million over 10 seasons, cool.
I was like, yeah, take this 12-year deal.
Exactly. You can this 12-year deal be a Giant for life. That's cool. Like I mean, I don't care. Once you hit 30, the rest of it is voidable. You'll get it. Like I don't care. Like, dude, that's fine. You all want to walk up here, and so I want $50, $60 million. I'll be like, nah, I'll pass. You can leave.
I think with Peppers, I'm not. I don't want to put like thoughts or put words in anybody's mouth, but a couple of weeks ago there were reports coming out, but right before the trade deadline, that like Peppers was like really, really shaken in like a press conference,
Mm,
which is like, well, maybe they had so the thought that was running around was like, oh, maybe they brought him in and said like, all right, listen, we're going to be looking to trade you or whatever.
mm,
This is his hometown. Like Peppers is from EO,
mm-hmm.
so he like this is his hometown team. Like I don't know if he was a Giants fan growing up or anything like that, but like this is where he wants to be. So I don't want to sit up here and say like, oh, he's just guaranteed to go give us like a hometown discount or anything like that.
Right,
But you know he
right,
wants to be here.
right.
I mean, you were there at the at that little training camp that they did out down in Newark.
Mm-hmm.
You saw how he was speaking to the kids and everything that was out there. So with Ingram, again, I don't know. I doubt seriously that Ingram is going to be asking for anything ridiculous just because of the fact that he knows, like, all right, listen, I haven't done anything to deserve this shit. And I know he's gonna. I don't know what happened. I can barely hear you right now.
No, I'm saying like if he decides to like try to demand like the mark of the world, my bro, dude, you could go. Like you
Hmm.
have no, you've done nothing to deserve any amount of this money that you're asking. Like even you want to see up here, oh, I made the Pro Bowl last year. Bullshit. Like come on, that Pro Bowl was just, like that was horrible. The reason that
You
for
made a
some
Pro Bowl off of one touchdown, bro.
yeah, I'm like, how did you make the Pro Bowl? You had like 40 yard receiving for one touchdown in the season. Like you had like tight end three numbers, and you're like, oh, I mean, get out of here. Like please get out of my face. Like I'm not, I'm really, I'm okay with that position. Like regardless if Evan comes back or not, I'm not like too worried about that. Again, I think Kyle will still be here. Kane will still be here. We can go off. We can find a tight end somewhere. We can find some veteran tight end free agent, or you just sign somebody, you just draft somebody later in the draft. Like I'm already setting up what I want. Obviously, it's probably not going to happen because I'm better than David Gettleman. But like the first round again, is not. If we have two picks in the first round, if it's not a D end and a lineman, I would be upset.
Yeah, it's non-negotiable at this point.
Yeah, that's it. That's what it needs to be. You get the blue chip prospect at both positions. You can either get a generational center, a top tackle, and a top edge rusher, one, two, or three. The second round for me is either going to be a linebacker, because I'm already looking at this kid Devin Lloyd from Utah. I've been reading about him for a couple weeks now. I'm either looking at the linebacker, or I'm looking at the situation with Peppers, because if Peppers decides to leave, then I'm going to go safety second round. But I really want somebody next to Blake Martinez that can cover the field with him. That's what I'm really looking at.
Oh yeah, I was about to say specify cover linebacker.
Yeah, that's really
I haven't seen one of them since Michael Boley.
yeah, I know. Like that's really what I'm looking at, just on a cover linebacker. But my thing, Devin Lloyd is a side-to-side type linebacker, not exactly known for coverage, but I think he in a pinch he can. But it's more so like I'm more worried because like coming off that knee, I need somebody next to him that you can trust. And Tay Crowder's regressed this season. He hasn't been nearly as good as last year. So,
Right.
and again, to even get what we're getting out of him as a seventh round pick, like it's just a shock in itself. But again, I'm not trying to rely on seventh round picks every draft. So you go out, you get somebody who's like the best coverage linebacker in the draft, like I'll take it. Like I was looking at one that had the only one I like the kid in the Kobe game from Georgia, but he ain't gonna be there. That kid's an animal. But he's not gonna be there for second round. I mean, I saw him mock where he was, but I doubt it happens. But all said and done, they're gonna do something to that kid. He's gonna test well and all that stuff, and then he'll end up just playing. He'll end up being a coverage backer. I'm trying to think of who else. I mean, besides those two, I can't remember the kid from a couple kids from Alabama. I love Jaquan Brisker from Penn State as a safety. Like, I'm not even looking at receiver. I'm not even looking at receiver in this draft. The only other thing I'm really looking at, which I'll consider in the third round, because we have 2 third-round picks, I'll consider looking at a running back. I'll consider that in the third round. Only because you can't hear me?
A bit.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't have headphones on at all.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening right now.
I don't know if it's me or you then, because I don't have headphones on and I don't have I should be talking on my phone the whole time.
Oh, I don't know.
But yeah. I don't know where I left off. But I will say the only other position I would really consider as a third round would probably be like the running back position. In like the third round, because we have 2 third round picks. That's the only I consider that because Saquon's been messed up lately. And then you have Devontae Booker. And after that, you have Brightwell and Sandro Platzcomer. I'm not relying on these people. Like, Brightwell.
Technically, we got Penny, but I don't know.
Yeah, I know. Like we keep running him as a fullback, and he's becoming kind of like a fan favorite. But like you want somebody who's gonna be able to I don't know. Like I'm not. Again, this coming from somebody who loves the fullback position. Like I wish I could play fullback in the NFL, but like to me, it's like you can see it's like athletically, he's kind of like athletic. He's not there as athletic as an actual NFL today. He's NFL running back. He doesn't, give you everything. He's not as athletically gifted. So I mean, we have Saquon running. He has Saquon's injuries bank messing him up. And Walker. Like I was looking at somebody. There's a couple running backs that are like solid backs, but they're not anybody that's going to go in the first round. It's not running, in my opinion. It's going to go in the first round. Even the kid Kenneth Walker from Michigan State, even if he comes out, I don't see him as a first round back.
Maybe honestly, considering all of the stigma around Saquon right now, I doubt you're going to see any running backs coming out in the first round, or at least the top 15, 20 picks anytime soon.
Yeah, like I don't even know if there's going to be a running back that's going to reach the. Like I'm trying to think about it. Like, was there a running back that really is going to even hit the second round? In my opinion, is what's killing me. Like that's the crazy part. Like I don't see a running back coming out in the second round. Like I have to look at the running back rankings, but I really don't see it. Yeah, that's my main thing coming into this next offseason. Like we have, to me, we have every other piece, but it's like we have a starter every piece, But our depth, we don't have any depth for one. We're severely thin at like every position for one. And then two, on the low line, we don't even have starters. So we can't even have depth if we don't have starters. Like, so like, and I think we can upgrade the backup quarterback position because I just hate seeing Mike Glenn's face on the
Yeah,
sideline. Like, I just
I
hate seeing
can't get with him.
No, I can't either. I love when we had Colt last year. Like, I can't get with Mike Glennon's face on the sideline. Like I said, I gotta look into some running backs prospects some more. I know a couple on top of my head, but like I said, like my first two picks aren't changing. It's gonna be an O lineman and a D lineman, depending on how the board falls.
Mm-hmm.
The second round, I want a linebacker. Nothing's really changing that either. Again, depending on how the board falls. And then the third round, we have two picks. And ideally, I would like to take one and again, depending on how the board falls, I'd like to pick a running back with one. And honest to goodness, I wouldn't be mad if we went offensive line again with that second, third round pick. I would not be mad. If we win, we got Evan Neal in the first round that tackle, I'd go back with that second, third round pick and get a guard. I would be completely fine with that. And then you have what? I think that's one, two, three, four. That's five picks. Your last six picks, go get corners, go get receivers, whatever else. I don't care. But like those first five picks to me need to be the edge rusher, two O linemen, a linebacker, and maybe a safety. Like, or just another linebacker. Maybe an inside linebacker and outside backer. Something. But like you need talent, you need like some freak athletes, people that you could develop, people that are gonna step in immediately and make an impact. Like all these things are just needed now. Like, all these things are needed. And it's like we're so lacking for talent. Like we have top heavy, we have good talent on the surface, like you said on paper. When you look at like our secondary, you're like, damn, these guys got Dory, they got Bradbury, they got Logan, they got Jabril, they got this, they got that. Like when you look at it on paper for the secondary and our receivers, on paper it looks great. Like you know what I'm saying? But then when you look under that and you're just like, who are your linebackers? Like Carter Coughlin, Cam Brown, Tay Crowder. Who the fuck is Tay Crowder? Like who are your D linemen? O'Shea Jimenez, like who David Moa? Who are these people? Like in your O line, like you know what I'm saying? Like your sexy positions look great. Like your corners and receivers look great. And then everything else just looks like, who are you? Like you don't have like I don't know, like again, you're lacking an identity for one. And then it's just like you don't have the depth players to like if somebody is to go down, then you want to go next man up. It's like the next man up guy kind of sucks though. Like like, it sucks. Like that's what we have to like fill the team with talent. And again, this is the year. Do we have 11 draft picks? So like this is the year to do it.
9, I think, because we traded some of them.
Oh, I don't know. I thought we still had 11, but regardless, like this is still the year to do it. Shoot, if we're at pick 6 and whoever's at 7, if we're at 6 and 8 and somebody's at 7 and wants to jump to 6, trade back one slot and get like an extra 2 picks for us or something like that. Whatever, trade back for 6 or 7 and pick up another third round pick. Have 3 thirds, like that'd be great. Like do something, but like these guys we have the picks, we have the draft capital to really change around this team this coming off season. It sucks that we're only doing the midseason report and we're already talking about the draft. But like, I mean, it just kind of is.
Honestly, that's where we're at right now.
Yeah, it really is. It really is what it is at this point. It really does suck to be doing it like 9 games in, but.
And that's not to say that anybody's given up on anything right here. Like I said,
No.
stranger things have happened.
Yeah,
but, like we're not going to sit up here and just be delusional to the point where we're just like, all right, well, we're 3-6. It's time for this, this 8-game winning streak.
Yeah, right.
Playoffs on a roll and everything like that, and then we go, on a Super Bowl run. It's not happening,
No,
right? If
no,
it does, I
no.
got a house to sell you.
Word. Word. It's like just at this point. It's really what we're doing at this point. Like, is really what we have to look at. Like, what can we do to get this team better for the following season? Again, weapons wise for Daniel, we're fine. Like, as long as the receivers come back healthy, tight end position gets figured out, Saquon comes back healthy, we maybe get another running back to spell him along with Devonta, you're fine. Like, your secondary is fine. You have to figure out what's going to happen with Jabril, but the secondary is fine. The D line needs help. The O line needs help, and your linebackers. I think those are your three biggest areas that need help. Like,
Mhm.
your O line, you have to find the three starters: a center, a right guard, and a right tackle. Your D line, I don't know how you want to spin it because you have Dex in the middle. You could slide Leonard to the other D tackle, have him play inside, and go get a Hutchinson or Carl Loftus and play them across from Aziz. Like, you have ways you can figure that out, or you could wait to maybe the third round and pick up a D tackle and put him inside and have Leonard on the outside. There's ways you have options, but like, I think the other thing is we're gonna have to start trimming some of this fat of these other people. Like O'Shane Zimenez, I'm done with him.
Yep.
I decided to let him go. Trim that fat. Like, I love Zoe Carter. You gotta figure something out with Zoe Carter too. Like, to me, he's not a hand in the dirt edge rusher. That was a failed experiment. If we're going to keep him, let him be an outside backer. If we're going to keep him, but people like Zimenez, it's time to like pull the plug on that. He needs to go. If we couldn't trade that kid for like a fifth, sixth round pick, it's time to cut dead weight. Like, because the kid, Aziz Ojolari has more sacks than this kid in 9 games. Like, Aziz played 9 games, that's 5.5 sacks. This kid's played like 50 and has like 5.5 sacks, like, or like 4 sacks. Like, come on. Like, I get it. You were a small school kid. You're 6'3", 240. Like, but you're built like a linebacker, but you can't play linebacker. You can't cover. You're a little pass rush specialist. Well, it didn't work out. So that was cute, but that was another wasted third round pick. Time to move on from that. Like, let him go. Let him go somewhere where he can be scheme specific and just be a third round specialist or third down specialist, pass rusher. Cute. Let him do that for another team. Ain't working for us. Move on from him. Like, there's certain people that just need to be trimmed at this point. Like you gotta go. You're not helping. You're not like, yeah, those are my brothers. Cool. Those can still be your brothers. You can go play for the Vikings. Go bye. Like, sorry.
Right to the Vikings.
I don't know. They take all our D tackles.
I know. All of our second round pick D tackles too.
Bastards. I know. Freaking Woodball. Freaking Dalvin. Bastards. Just take everybody. Like, I'm looking. I already know. Like I said, I know what I want. Pretty much buy around. I'm figuring it out as we go. But my first 2 to 3 picks are pretty much booked. So I was like, listen, it's going to be interesting to see where we go from this year. I know, as far as free agency, I don't know what we're going to do. I don't know if we're going to have money for stuff like that.
We don't have a whole lot of money, but to be honest with you, that didn't stop us this year.
Mm-hmm.
That didn't stop us this year. And like I said, we spent money in places that, like I said, yeah, they were needs and everything like that. You can second guess stuff like Galladay and everything like and rather than spending the money on Leonard Williams over Dalvin Tomlinson. But the fact is, we had holes that needed to get filled, and we filled them in those places. Granted, like I said, we still had more stuff that needed to get done that didn't get done, but it's not an impossibility that we could go out there and make some more moves or whatever. The question is, what are we going to be giving up to do so?
Mm-hmm.
So, but anyway, I know you got to get ready to go to sleep. I'm sitting up here and I'm trying to just come up with any type of a plan that we could possibly put together to get this team, on a roll. And just like I do with some of my bookings and stuff with the WWE, I'm starting to piss myself off because I know it's not actually going to go through and happen and everything like that. But
I know. I'd be at work and I'd be like staring at mock drafts and prospects rankings, and before I get to work at like 7:55, work don't start till like 8:45. I'm there like 50 minutes early, and I just go down prospect boards and rankings, and I just look at people, and I just go on YouTube and look for highlights. I look at games. I go searching Twitter, like I just go through all this stuff. Like, I just gotta find people. Like, I gotta find talent for every round. I gotta find, because when come draft time, the Giants are gonna draft somebody in the 6th round. You're gonna be like, yo, who is this guy? And I'm gonna have a full breakdown, and I'm gonna be able to tell you who the guy is because
like I've literally never heard of this person. Where did he come from? Was he just created in a lab? Because he was not on any of the draft boards that I was looking at. Like,
I think the only person last year was freaking Gary Brightwell. You're like, who's this guy? And I was like, I don't know. Like, we took the backup running back from Arizona. Like, not even the starting running back, the backup. Great.
yeah, I know, because everybody was looking for, like, I think everybody was looking for us trying to get that kid from Missouri, I think he was.
Larry Roundtree.
Yeah.
Yep. And we took Gary Brightwell.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, but it is what it is. Hindsight is 2020. I'm not gonna sit up here and continue to bitch and complain about some stuff that I ain't got no control over anymore.
Nope, I'm not GM of the Giants yet.
Not yet.
I got a ways to go.
Yeah, man. Anyway, folks, that was our little mid-season rant on the New York Giants and everything like that. It was supposed to be a review, but we reviewed and then we had some feelings about some stuff that we had to get off our chest.
I have to get some things out.
Yeah, man. That's our mid-season therapy session.
Yeah, word. I like that
pretty
better.
much what it ended up being. But like I said, that was that. We'll be posting this video up on I'll be handing it over to Paul, hopefully put it up on YouTube, set it up on Anchor and everything as well. Follow us on our Facebook and Instagram, the Sportsmark Analysts. So you got anything you want to shout out before we can't put this thing to bed for the night?
Shout out to Bench Bob podcast. It's good, really good guys over there. I got some friends over there. Check their stuff out. They have a lot. So Bench Bob with 2 B's on Instagram. Check them out. Check out Off the Top Sports. They have a radio show that they do on Tuesday that'll be at 6 o'clock. They go through a whole review of sports news and everything. Yeah, it's got a lot. Everybody's still working, trying to figure out scheduling and everything as far as doing podcasts. We're going to do a lot more content. But yeah, check out some of our partners and people we do collaborate with. We have the Dope Podcast. Check them out. I believe they're on Anchor. And Charles and Brett, are they on Anchor, or are they?
I don't know. That's actually a good question.
They're on another platform too. I know that I believe they just dropped the YouTube page too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Dope Podcast. Check them out too. Our boys Brett and Charles. We gotta do some collaborate with a lot of them too, because especially for y'all, Charles is always talking y'all about wrestling stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So we gotta get Charles on. We gotta get Brett on for something for the Steelers. Yeah, we got a lot to do.
Yeah, that's gonna be good conversation too, because Charles like talking shit too.
So man, wrap this up so I can go shower and pass out.
Yeah, I think I need some more iced tea too. But anyway, once again, thank you all for watching. And if I had something to toast you to, but I don't have anything anymore. My cup is empty at the moment. But here's to a hopefully what the hell. Here's to a hopefully good second half of the season, to which we're not sitting up here completely complaining about for the rest of it. All right.
Yeah, for real.
Anyway, this is Benny and Joe signing off for Sports Market Analysts, y'all. Y'all have a good night.
Oh man.